Do you know the number one reason why VA disability claims get denied? It's because of missing and incomplete evidence that's submitted with VA disability claims. I'm going to talk about some common solutions for this problem in today's video. In fact, I have a free Google Sheets document that you can download that basically has a play-by-play exercise, if you will, that will help you go from start to finish on a brand new claim, going back to your military service treatment records so that you can get the information that you need to have in there so that your disability claim doesn't have incomplete or missing evidence information that will help get your VA disability claim approved. Veterans often when submitting, especially veterans that are submitting new claims, they've never done this before. Maybe they've gone to a VSO or are trying to do it by themselves, but they forget to list their current condition and how it initially started when they were first in the military. A lot of us didn't go to the doctor when we were in the military, but maybe there is something in there that we can connect to our current conditions that we can simply show that was in our service treatment records. Now, yes, the VA will look, or they're supposed to look, but it's so much easier if you go through your service treatment records and you look for complaints or maybe diagnosed conditions from when you were in the military, because every single VA disability claim is going to need to be connected to service in one way or another. And the easiest way is to get that direct service connection by going back through your service treatment records, even though they are probably going to be long and it will be a complicated process going through it. I think you will be surprised at what you did tell doctors during your annual physicals or when you went. I know I was. So if you have your service treatment records or you can get your service treatment records, that is super important because you want to couple that information with that. With that being said, the next problem that that veterans face when they're submitting these and that they forget to include is that they just simply can't show, when or where that first diagnosis happened. If you're just kind of, you remember that it was diagnosed in the military, but you just don't remember when, and you don't look at your service treatment records, the VA is not going to just take that and say, yeah, he's probably telling the truth. They want that medical evidence, and it's very easy to get. So when your VA disability claims that you're putting in your conditions, your current disabilities, if you can't connect those current symptoms to past records, it's going to get denied. So the solution that I came up with is to download this Google worksheet, this Sheets document, and follow it along. There's 3 tabs in it. The first tab, and if you don't want to download it, basically the first step is you're going to get your service treatment records. You're going to go through your service treatment records and you're going to document on either a notebook or on the Google Sheets document every time you made a complaint about something that you currently have a problem with or something that could potentially be connected to something that you're dealing with now. I'll give you an example. Let's say that you currently have been diagnosed with some sort of neck pain or degenerative disc in your back or something, and you notice when you're going through your service treatment records that you ran into something and you hit your head and you had to go get x-rays on your neck or on your back. And that very well could be the reason why you have arthritis in your neck or whatever condition you have. Obviously, you'll want to support that with some sort of medical evidence, but going through your service treatment records and identifying that gives you a starting point that is so important when establishing direct service connection. That's step number 1. And that's a big problem that vets make is they forget to go through those service treatment records to find the baseline or the foundation. And really that's what the VA wants to see. They want to see that you complained about this while you were in service, or that there was an injury or something that happened. And it doesn't always have to be medical evidence. It could be non-medical evidence as well. So those service treatment records are a great starting point. And that's what that Google Sheet document starts out with, is finding those things that that are in your service treatment record initially, okay? And then the next tab in that Google Sheets document, it asks you to basically put in a narrative. On this date, I went to the doctor while I was on active duty. I complained of X, Y, and Z, and the doctor diagnosed me with X, Y, and Z. The doctor treated me. The doctor had me do follow-ups throughout the rest of my time while I was in the military. And I'm kind of setting you up to start drafting a personal statement. And that's your service connection. And so I think that that's very important. And then in the remainder of that tab, it asks you questions like, do you have a current diagnosis for this condition? And then you'll click yes. If it's no, then you'll be asked to document or click yes or no for current symptoms, because I know that vets don't always go to the doctor for every little headache that they have, so you may not have a current diagnosis for your headaches or whatever the condition is, but it'll ask you if you have current symptoms. And then on the third tab, it basically spits out using a formula that I have in Google Sheets to kind of give you like I don't want to call it advice, but like sort of like a recommendation. It'll say, hey, it sounds like you may have a service-connected disability. Take this to the VSO and use this with your VSO because you've established a baseline theory, a baseline plan. And I think that your VSO will respect you a little bit more and maybe move you into a position to help you. I mean, obviously all VSOs are there to help, but they are overworked. And if you can do a little bit of this legwork up front, I think it'll help you when you sit down with that VSO to say, hey, like I've went through all my service treatment records. Here's the ones that I think that I'm definitely going to be connected to my military service. Here's what I know I need, because on that recommendation, it'll also tell you what you might be missing, such as a current diagnosis. And if you're missing a current diagnosis, a simple trip to the doctor can help you get that current diagnosis. And listen, this isn't the end of the VA disability claims process. This is just the beginning. This video is meant for beginners. This worksheet's meant for beginners. This is phase 1. Phase 2, obviously, we get a little bit more, gets a little bit more complex, where we start looking at secondary conditions and et cetera. But I don't want you worrying about that right now. I want you to worry about, what do I do at the beginning? What's this first phase looks like? And this is the first phase. So if you're interested in this brainstorm worksheet that I call it, please just comment down below worksheet or brainstorm worksheet, and I will send you a link to get that. It is absolutely free, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it helps you out.